I don't even know what the heck that was. I think I saw that on Gumball one time. Yeah, there was like a freaking video of was a Gumball from The Amazing World of Gumball doing a little dance while Thuggish Ruggish Bone was playing in the background. Okay, just gotta wait for YouTube Studio to wake up, because it just likes to take its time. It likes to take its time. Turn back time. If I could find a way. Come on now. Come on, baby, come on. Okay. Think we're ready to go. I see the lovely hamster wheel of doom, which means we good to go. What's going on, everybody? Know what you're thinking? Crazy dog, why are you live again so damn late, bro? Shouldn't you be in bed sleeping? Sleep? What's that? Nah, I'm just trolling. Nah, fam. I'm be going to bed here soon, though. It's just sitting here, right? And I'm thinking, here we are, going into the second week of the season, right? Second week of the season. Whoa. Well, for football, almost. College. Yeah. Week one of the NFL starts this week. Again, you know, baseball's ending soon. I have not talked at all about the playoff races going down in the MLB right now. And I'm telling you, there are some tight races going down. I'm looking at the division races at this very second. There's maybe two divisions, both, of course, in the NL, that are essentially locked in right now. As we have about 20 ish games left in the season, right? There's about 20 ish games left, you know. So you have to figure, shouldn't be too much longer before these freaking these divisions are all wrapped up. Now, I was going to go through every single like division and talk about the remaining schedule for the contending teams. I tried to do it, but ESPN's been bugged, at least for me, by some spammy freaking like contest thing. For anyone who was born like in the 90s, you know what I'm talking about, right? Those classic, congratulations, you won! Little spam, scam, freaking contest things. It's like, all you gotta do is answer 9 questions, and you have a chance to win one of these fantastic prizes. And you get nothing in return except for possibly a virus. And yeah, no, no. Did do a nice little glance at the schedules of most of these teams, right? And I'll say something though. The AL West, all three contending teams don't even leave the West for like one series. The Astros do not go east of the Mississippi until the end of the year when they play us at home, like in Cleveland. Seattle, same thing. Texas, same thing. Now, Texas, they're on the fringe. They're 7.5 out. And let's see here. Let's do a little math. No crazy dog math here. This is just going to be straight up math because you can't mess around with numbers like this. 68 and 73. Okay, 68 plus 73. 141 games. So there are about 21 games left in the season. Yep, 21. 21. And they're 7.5 out. And that's just a division. In the wild card, they're at 8 games out. So you got to figure Their magic number is not very high. Or their elimination number. Right? That number is not high at all. What's up, Kuram? So you're a Rangers fan, aren't you? That's tough. So I'm gonna try and pull this off. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. Let's do a different site. Let's just use the MLB site. Why not? Right? Let's look up Houston. Well, Houston. Let's take a look at Houston. You know what? I'll give it a shot. Let me just pull it up on a different browser. Maybe it won't hurt me as bad if I use Chrome. Because you know how friggin' Edge is, right? Let's go to Chrome here. Pull up the schedule. But yeah, for anyone who's a '90s dude like me, you know those stupid freaking pop-up spam contest things, right? The worst ones are the ones that act like you got a virus. You know, they be coming at you with these like bright lights, loud noises, be like, caution, caution, you have a virus. Scaring the crap out of you. It's like, bitch, I ain't got no damn virus. Get out of here with your lying ass. Because if I have virus protection on my computer, if there was something there, it would let me know. Right? I gotta love these freaking spam and scammers. Preying on people, man. Because some people don't know any better, right? That's their target. Those poor people that just don't know any better. They're innocent. At least, you know, can't imagine targeting innocent people trying to scam. But anyways, looking at the Astros schedule to wrap up the upcoming final 20-ish games that they have left. Now they will be heading to Cleveland at the end of the year, like I said. That's their only trip east of the Mississippi. Other than that, they have Arizona at home, Oakland at home. They go out west to LA for the Angels and the Padres. 3 games apiece there. They come back home to face LA, and then they get a big series at home against Seattle, and then they come to Cleveland. Now for Seattle, speaking of which, right? Seattle, I think, has the same thing, where they don't go anywhere close to the East until they go to New York. Yeah, because they go to St. Louis, then they host San Diego for 2, Texas for 4 at home. Oh no, they actually host New York. They don't gotta leave the West Coast at all. Besides St. Louis. After they're done with St. Louis, they don't even go anywhere. They don't go past the Mississippi. Hell, they don't even go past the Rocky Mountains. Well, actually, they kind of do. They gotta go to Texas. But still, they don't go east of the Mississippi. And then you look at the Rangers, right? You go to the Rangers, and I think they have Toronto for 1 series on the road. I'm pretty certain. Let's see here. Yeah, no, they host Toronto. So they don't leave. They don't go east of the Mississippi either. Wow. They knew what they were doing when they made that schedule. Yeah. They host the Angels coming up. In fact, they just started that series yesterday, I guess, the 5th. They beat the Angels 3-1. Did Texas. So a 4-gamer against the Angels, 2 against the D-backs on the road, 4 on the road against Seattle. Ooh. Then they have a homestand against 3 against Toronto, 3 against Seattle, and then they end their season in Cali on the road in Oakland and then LA. Wow. Against the Angels. Wow. That's crazy. That's going to be a fun division to watch because I mean it's gonna be so tight. Houston is getting better. They they do look more formidable now, but they're shaky. They are shaky. That series against us at the end of the year might be for the division, honestly, for the West. So, Seattle and Texas, they're going to be rooting hard for us. That's for sure, if it comes down to it. Still a lot of time left. Now, the Central, of course, I've already talked about the Guardians, but for anyone who hasn't been paying attention to us, this is what the Guardians have coming up to wrap up their schedule, which I'd say it's decent. It's not the worst ending of a season, I guess you could say. They have the Dodgers coming up. Then they go to Chicago for 3 against the Sox. Then they come home for this big ass homestand against Tampa for 4, and then 4 against Minnesota. That might be the division right there, man. If we go into that series against Minnesota, let's say we take 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, we should sweep the White Sox, but they've given us fits all year. I'll take 2 out of 3 out of them. And then let's say we somehow split or something against Tampa. We go into that series in that situation, we cooking. That could finish up the division easily with how the Twins have been playing. Of course, we just finished up with Kansas City, but yeah, this series against the Dodgers is going to be huge. Boyd versus Knack tomorrow, so no Kershaw. Bob Stone, and then Williams and Flaherty. Big series coming up. Now, for the Minnesota Twins, because again, they are still in the hunt. They're kind of just jousting with the Royals for second right now. Yippee. Hopefully we can pull away a little bit. It's at home. Yeah. What's up, Jacob? Arizona and Seattle on the road next week. Yup. So here's Minnesota. Of course, they luck out. Kansas City on the road. They have Matthews and Reagans today. Burr versus Marsh, and Woods Richardson versus Waka. Okay, so they avoided the 3-headed monster in Casey's rotation, but their pitching hasn't been great either. And then they get Festa, Lopez, and Matthews against Detmers, Canning, and who the heck is Kakanowitz? Okay, then AI generated name, love it. That'd be huge because then they get Aguilar. Who the heck? Aguirre? Who? And Martinez for the Reds. Who the hell? And then they get Loader. Honestly, the Reds are bringing up their younger guys, I guess, now. Okay. And then they face us, and it'll be Boyd and Lopez in the first game. So you got to look at where Lopez is. So we'll probably get Lopez, Matthews, Ober, and SWR. Yeah, we don't face Festa. We face everybody else. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Again, no Joe Ryan. He's hurt, so we're not going to see him, which is a bummer. But it is what it is. Gotta take care of business though. One series at a time, one game at a time. But yeah, Minnesota faces us on the. It's here in Cleveland or there. I don't live there no more, but you know what I'm saying. In Cleveland, then they got to go to Boston. Ooh, damn. And they end up then they end it at home, 6 games against Miami and then Baltimore. Okay, then. So it all really depends on how they do against Kansas City. If they look like booty cheeks against KC, because they also just lost 2 out of 3, or they split against Tampa, and they could have lost all 4. They really could have lost all 4 games. Right? They've been kind of sputtering as of late. So they need to finish off their season strong Not to mention, Kansas City is still very much in it. Their fans are talking like they have a chance to make the playoffs. They're not saying if they make it, they're saying when. I'm going to the game against Rays next Thursday. Oh, nice. Hope Mother Nature behaves for you. I always say that because you never know with Mother Nature these days. But of course, they have Twins at home. Then they get the Yankees on the road with Singer, Lugo, and Reagans on the mound. And then they have the Pirates on the road for 3. They do face Skeens and Jones and Keller. Ooh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, barring any like double headers or anything, because you never know with weather these days, especially in the fall. Man, facing Keller, Jones, and Skeens. Please, Pirates, sweep these losers. I beg of you. No, but they suck, so they're not going to do it. If you're going to try hard for a series, Pittsburgh, try hard for that series, please. I beg of you. Then they got Detroit at home. I mean, don't sleep on Detroit. Oh, Casey Mize is back. Yo, since when was Casey Mize back? I never even knew that. Wow. Shows you what I know. I don't pay attention to them anymore, so it is what it is. I really only pay attention to them when I know we got to face them again, which we're done with them for the year, so it is what it is. 3 against Detroit at home, 3 against San Francisco at home. Then they go to Washington and Atlanta to finish out the year. And do not sleep on Washington. They're a solid team. It's going to be an interesting end of the season. 3 series to end the year against solid teams San Fran, Washington, and Atlanta. Don't sleep on those 3. I would love to see Kansas City fall flat on their face at the end of the year. That'd be great. I would love every second of that. So, yeah, of course, the Guardians 4 games ahead of Minnesota, 4.5 ahead of Detroit. I'm not Detroit, Kansas City. Detroit technically is still in the running in the wild card. They're only 5 out. Wow. That's actually crazy. Detroit is 10 wins away from securing a winning record. And just for lulz, they can clinch that winning record that they haven't had in a long time. Because they got, oh, they can definitely do it. Oh my God, they can do it for sure. 9 games against Oakland on the road, Colorado at home, and then Chicago at the end of the year and the White Sox. Oh my God, they can finish somewhere in there, which they're probably going to win a couple games here and there too. They might be able to finish over 500. No, that'd be impressive. Not gonna lie, given what they were like last year. Then Tigers fans would be like, man, imagine if we weren't hot ass for like a good stretch of this year. Right? Imagine if you weren't hot ass. You guys might have been able to be in the division race just like the other 3 teams. It is what it is, I guess, right? So that's the Central, and then the AL East, Baltimore and New York. Just like we expected, right? Baltimore, how do they end the season? I've talked about most of their schedule already, but they got it. It's a heavy East Coast or East division, like East time zone schedule. They host Tampa, 6 on the road in Boston and Detroit. Okay. Then they have a 6-game home stand against San Fran and Detroit again. Then they go on the road to New York and Minnesota to end the year to face the Yankees and the Twins. Oh man, that Yankees series might clinch the division for them. Like legit. And then, of course, speaking of the Yankees, I mean, you got to see what they're up to because they're up and down a little bit. They've been faltering a little bit. They've been running into some trouble. They just lost 2 of 3 against Texas. Man, that's tough. After losing 2 of 3 to St. Louis and Washington, they've just been in a tailspin a little bit. But they got Chicago Cubs on the road against Wicks, Assad, and Tyone. Oh, they should be able to take 2 out of 3 against them if they play serious ball, which they haven't been able to really do that lately. So they have 3 on the road against Chicago, homestand against Kansas City and Boston, with Cole, Rodon, and Stroman against Criswell. Oh, it's a 4-gamer. Ooh, Criswell, Bayo, Crawford, and Hawk. That's a big ass series right there. Wow. And then you have Seattle on the road for 3, Oakland on the road for 3 for the final time, of course. Then you have Baltimore and Pittsburgh to end your year. Man, what a team. What a end of the season. You face Pittsburgh at the end of the year. Wow, when half their players are going to have their feet halfway out the door, ready for the offseason. AL East is going to be tough. It's going to be a hard race to the finish. Now, on the flip side, the NL, two of the divisions are already locked in my books. Phillies and Brewers, they got their divisions on lock at this point. Phillies are 8 games up on the Braves and the Mets, and then Brewers are 9 games up on the Cubs. It would take some crazy amount of luck from either one of those divisions to even become close. The Cubs are too up and down to really have a threat right now. And the Braves and Mets are just mid at this point. The Braves tried so hard to bring back the good vibes from that World Series run. And I think they're only going to end up with a wild card berth, I think. Yeah. Now, the Dodgers, the only threats they have are San Diego and Arizona. I talked a little bit about those 2 teams, but looking at the Dodgers' end of the season schedule, I think it's pretty much the same thing. I don't know if they leave the West Coast. Let me see here. Um, well, they go to Miami. That's it. Well, no. They go out east for 7 against Atlanta for 4, and then Miami for 3. Then they end their season 9 games on the West time zone. Yeah, they end their season with 3 in Colorado. And of course, they have 6 games at home coming up here against us and Chicago and the Cubs. So yeah, the Guardians luckily avoided Bueller, Yamamoto, and Miller. Oh, did we get lucky there? And who knows? Maybe Kershaw will be back soon too. Wow, we got so damn lucky there. Holy crap! Yamamoto making his return against the Cubs against Imanaga. Oh wow, Imanaga versus, of course, Yamanaga. What the hell? Yamanaga. Okay, I'm mixing up their names. Okay, Shotanobu Yamanaga. So you can tell my brain is ready to turn off for the night. Yamamoto versus Imanaga. That's Showtime. Showtime. Love to see it. Those 2 pieces, those 2 pictures highlighted the international, like the Japanese or Asian, I guess, crop of free agents. There was quite a few. There's a couple. Those are the only 2 that I've really heard the most about. I know next you got what, Sasaki coming in. He's trying to come over, I think, next year. He was posted, I think, but his team didn't let him go. He's going to try and get posted again. And it's likely he'll end up going to, a big team. It is what it is. We don't usually go after those guys from that area and the big names. We go after the little names, like Unlively. But yeah, I mean, the Dodgers should be okay when it comes to their division. The Padres, you see them still fighting though. They ain't giving up just yet. But looking at the Padres schedule coming up here, It's heavy on the West Coast again, of course, having to face San Fran in 6 of their next 8 games, 3 at home, and then 3 on the road at the end next week, with 2 in Seattle in between. They have Darvish and Perez against Kirby and Woo. Kirby Woo. Yeah. Then they have Houston at home. Okay. For 3. Then they host Chicago for 3. And then they go to LA to face the Dodgers and then Arizona. So they don't leave the West Coast. They don't. Their road games are Seattle and San Francisco first, and then LA and Arizona. They don't go past the Rocky Mountains for the most part. They don't fly like anywhere near the plains. They stay on the west side, which is huge for them. They're not gonna wear themselves out with air travel. Sup, Daniel? And then the Arizona Diamondbacks, they're kind of on the fringe too, in my opinion. Of course, they're the defending NL champions, so they're trying to make it back to the playoffs. So their end of the season is pretty tough. They actually do have to travel quite a bit, going to Houston, hosting the Texas Rangers, hosting the Brewers, going to Colorado, going to Milwaukee. Then they got to end their season at home against San Fran and San Diego. So the only non-West team they face is Milwaukee. They have 7 games against them within about a week or so, with the series against Colorado in between on the road. Now, luckily for them, they got their pitching staff mostly, or actually, I think it is all the way back. Yeah, Fott, Rodriguez, Nelson, Gallen, and Kelly. That's their rotation. And I'm sure JB Taylor's like, that's the way I like it. Now, can they close in, to the Dodgers? It's possible. 5.5 games is not much at all. It's crazy how the Giants are 15.5 out of the division. And then you have the Rockies. Hello down there. But it's going to be a fun race in a lot of these divisions. Now, let's take a look at the matchups. What the matchups would look like if the playoffs started today. And I'm going to use Fangraphs, and we're going to see what the pitching matchups might look like. Like if we went top of the rotation against each other. So Baltimore and Cleveland would get the byes to the division series right now in the AL. So our top of our rotation would be set as well as theirs. And then the Astros would face, I believe, Kansas City. Ooh. And then New York and Minnesota. So comparing Houston and Kansas City, right? First off, Astros. Obviously, they'd be the home team because they'd be the number 3 seed. And in a best of 3, I mean, there's really nobody better that you'd go, you want to go to. But right now, their rotation, Valdez, Kikuchi, and Blanco. Now, if I had to guess, depending on how their rotation ends the season, you'd probably want to go Verlander game 1, unless you save him for a possible divisional series matchup, right? So you'd probably have Valdez going in game 1, and then maybe Kikuchi in game 2 of the wild card. That's what I'd do. I'd save your best arms for that divisional series. You still have some other good arms, but Valdez or Kikuchi or whatever, you could start them against little old Kansas City. Now Kansas City, as we know, their arms are serious this year. They actually got spending, and it's done wonders for them. Yeah. Mr. Sherman, their new owner, he got serious for once in spending, and look what happened. Lugo, Reagans, and Marsh in a potential wild card series. That would go hard though. I don't know if I'd want to go Marsh. I'd probably go Waka. That's just me though. If they went with Lugo, Reagans, and Marsh, I think they'd be set. They wouldn't have to worry. Man, facing Houston would not be fun. Now, you look at the Twins and Yankees series. Twins rotation is a mess at this point. I don't even know if they're going to be able to hang on to a wild card spot at this rate. I mean, they are a half a game ahead of the rate of the Royals, and they face each other. The only teams that could possibly catch them: Detroit, Seattle, and Boston. And this team is far from the Bomba squad of like what 2019 Park with Ease. This team is not that. This team is weak and feeble. This team is incredibly feeble, man. As freaking YouTube Studio just decided to glitch on me a little bit. Okay, I think we're back. But I can't trust the Twins against the Yankees right now. I wouldn't be able. That is Raul. That is Raul. Now for the NL, Dodgers and Phillies are actually tied for the lead in the NL. But right now, those two teams would automatically have a bye into the second round to the division series. The Brewers would face, oh, either the Braves or the Mets, which I'd have to trust probably the Braves more than the Mets right now. And then Diamondbacks would face the Padres. Ooh. And they've talked about both of their rotations already. That freaking lineup, that rotation in a playoff series. But don't sleep on the D-backs, though. I talked about their rotation already. Oh, disconnected. That's why. Okay. That's a first. It usually doesn't disconnect on me like that. Wow. OBS, I'm disappointed in you. I'm over here talking, only to find out I was disconnected for a second. Gotta love OBS though. But as I was saying while I was disconnected, D-backs and Padres would face off in the wild card in the NL. That would be a banger series. Two really good rotations, two solid lineups, but I don't know if I can trust that D-backs pen. I don't know if I'd be able to trust them. Right? Padres pen is nice though. Yeah. And then it depends on who would come out of the other matchup in the wild card round. What was it? Braves and Mets? I think we'd know what would happen there. But also, you'd have to deal with the Brewers, right? Braves, Mets, or against the Brewers. Brewers' rotation's been beat up big time. And I think the Braves would probably be able to take them out. But again, that would be another good series. Yeah, that would have some good series in the wild card round. The AL depends on what you're thinking about, the Yankees and can they keep it up. But of course, we got like 20 games left, so a lot can change. We'll see what happens and everything, but I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna get to bed before I freaking pass out on camera. I know you guys do not want to see that. So I will head out and I will see you tomorrow night or tonight because it is officially Friday. Another weekend ahead of us coming up. Um, in terms of what to expect on the channel this weekend, obviously today, Friday, out here on the East Coast, Eastern time zone, I will be live uh, tonight, 10 p.m. Guardians Dodgers. Love to see it. And then I'll be live again tomorrow, Saturday at night for Ohio State, Western Michigan. And then I'll have my game preview for that game tomorrow on the Buckeye channel. Fucking crazy. And then, of course, on Sunday, it's NFL football. Browns and Cowboys. Yeah. Can't wait for that. Well, what about the Guardians? Nope. And it's important that I let you guys know now that with the NFL back officially now, um, Browns stream or not Browns streams, Guardians streams are essentially going to be like decreased by a lot now. I'm going to stream a game or so every couple days during the week. I might stream like one or two Guardians games a week. Now, when it comes to the playoffs, it depends on the time. Because as you guys saw last year, or 2 years ago for that matter, I went live for that, was a 15 inning marathon, Guardians and Rays, and I wound up damn near just missing the entire Ohio State Sparty game. I didn't even stream that game because I was just so wore out. So we'll see what time we play, and we'll see if I am, because if we might not even play during the entire wild card round, which would be clutch, because that's like a week off for the Guardians, which would be huge for us. And then maybe we'd play more during the week, but we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna wrap this up, and I will see you all tonight for some Guardians After Dark. We all love it, right? We all love some Guardians After Dark. So that'll wrap it up. And let's freaking get it, man. Final stretch. 20 some games left. Can't believe it. Honestly, feels like it should be like May or June. And here we are. Already freaking almost in the middle September. It's going to be playoff time before you know it. And then, of course, playoffs get here. And then, eventually, World Series will be here. And in terms of me streaming action, like any other playoff games, I might do one or two with my guy JB Taylor once the Guardians are eliminated, if they make it, because it's no guarantee, as we know with this team. If we make it to the playoffs, once we're eliminated, if we're eliminated, because you never know, right? But yeah, if and when we're eliminated, I'll probably do a game or so every week with JB Taylor, depending on what else is going on. Of course, the Cavs are starting up next month, so that'll add even more action to this channel. And yeah, I think the same thing will go for the Cavs too. I'll be doing a game or so every few days or so. Not gonna do every game, no, because especially with the Browns going on. Now, once we get like into March, like after the Super Bowl's done, then I'll be doing obviously more and more Cavs games, probably a couple of times a week. Like out of the 7 day week, I'll probably do 4 games or so, depending on how many games they play in a week. But I'm gonna try definitely to do the in-season tournament games. I'm gonna try and do those as many as I can for the Cavs. Depends on who else is playing. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna get some shut eye because I need it big time. I'm about ready to pass out on camera for real, for real. You guys can probably notice it in my eyes and my speech. Oh my god, starting to sound like I'm drunk. What do you think I've been drinking? Diet Coke. Ah, man. So, I'm going to wrap this up. As you know me, I like to stall and keep blabbering on, but I got to get to bed. So, oh, man, it's going to be a fun weekend. But with that being said, I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go, Guardians, and let's finish off the year strong. I'm out. Bye bye.